What's up, everybody? It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network. And this is the Heaven Hollywood Report, and let's get to it. Cardi B tweets and deletes that she will no longer be supporting the record with Normani that she's featured on because of why? What did I tell you guys 2 days ago? She was feeling as though people would not support Normani because she is on the record. And then 2 days later, that's exactly why when the song debuts at number 14 on the Billboard, which is way better than what people were saying initially. People were saying 50 and 51 and all this other stuff. So to debut at 14 against all of the, people knocking the song is very good. But we'll get to that in a minute. So Cardi B threatened to remove herself from the song, okay? And just have, Normani do the song by herself, since people were coming at her saying, and because she was seeing people criticizing her verse on the record. A verse that the record is already over when the verse comes on. You could have already gotten what you needed to get from the Normani record by the time Cardi even spits one bar. So all of that, I'm not supporting it because I didn't like Cardi B's verses on the song is all nonsense, because you can already have taken in the song and loved the song by the time Cardi's verse rolled around, just like I did. By the time it got to Cardi's verse, and I have no problem with Cardi being on the record, I know all the reasons why she was on the record. And she did not hurt the record. But people saying that her verse hurt the record is absolutely ludicrous. And they're just saying that just to cover up the fact that they don't like the fact that Cardi was on the record. So before she even opened up her mouth, they were going to diss it. But I want to get into the tweets from Cardi. And I have to say this, and everybody knows I like Cardi. I like her music. All right? I like her music. I love the music she put out. I love her work ethic, and I love her story, and I love her personality. But this is a no, ma'am. I'm not taking my vocals off nothing. I'm not taking my vocals off nothing. And Cardi, you should not allow these few fans, because you're going to have to remember something. You can look at your popularity, and yes, I know you've got 100 million on Instagram. I know you're one of the 12, I believe it's one of the 12 most popular follows, or one of the most 12 highest people followed on Instagram. But you have to realize that all of those 100 million are not following you because they're fans of you. There's probably a good 2 to 3 million following you just because they don't like you. So keep that in mind. She basically said, the same people that say that are the people who aren't buying it. And, no matter what they say, even if I took my vocals off, they still wouldn't be buying or streaming it. And you're absolutely right. So why even tweet that? So now you have to delete it, because it's looking like you're pretty much saying forget Normani, and that you were doing this for all the wrong reasons. And I have heard from behind the scenes how you have taken on, this project and how you've been supporting Normani, trust me, people that are in the know, that are connected to people in the know, they know the true story about, what you've been doing behind the scenes to help Normani. However, the way it's going to come across looking is, oh, uh, she was in this for her own personal reasons, and now that it's not turning out the way she thought, now she wants to get the hell out of Dodge. I know that that's not the way you feel, but the Cardi B haters and people who are not really, up on this situation, they will say, oh, she was doing it for her own, justification, her own reasons, trying to get a number one to attach, her name to now 6 number ones. Everyone knows that, Cardi B is about the charts. She let everybody know that when she first came into the game. So that should not be a surprise. But do not let these people, these few people that hate it, and they're going to hate anyway. Even after you remove, if you went as far as removing your vocals, first of all, they'll say they won because they didn't want you on the record. And then they would stream it on purpose and get the record to number one. I guarantee you, if you pull your name off it, the reason why they're not streaming this, Cardi, is because they want to stop your number one, your number one streak. They don't want you to get any more number ones. They don't want your name attached to it. You cannot sit and say, I don't know how anybody that calls themselves knowing music and liking good music, I don't understand how the owner of the song, the original creator of the beat, the original creators of the ones who wrote the song, how they're bopping their heads saying the song is amazing, but then everyday people are saying the song is trash. Don't you think if the song was trash, Timbaland would have been the first one to say, Timbaland never bit his tongue about any, music that sampled Aaliyah or sound like Aaliyah or what have you, reference to Aaliyah. But Cardi B, you have to, and I have DM'd you this, I spoke to you about this in the past. Man, you are a superstar now. You're a superstar now. The people that loved you, I talk about the industry all the time. It is a finger-snapping industry. The people that loved you yesterday, just like that, they can hate you. That's the way the industry moves. And you cannot allow, these people to have you talking about you're removing your vocals from a song who debuted at number 14. And number 14, let me tell you all about that. I come from a time where people would throw parties if they were number 14 on the Hot 100 list. And just because it debuted at number 14 does not mean it's not going to number one. If you recall, Up did not debut at number one. It took Up, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and it went all the way down to 10 before it started moving back up, or down to 8 before it started moving back up and finally went number one. So just because it's not number one, it didn't debut at number one, doesn't mean it's not going number one. The other thing is the narrative about, Cardi's upset because the record isn't selling. That's a lie. The record was what? On the R&B hip hop charts was number 3. It was the 7th top selling record of the week, I believe, or maybe even lower than that. So if it's the 7th top selling record of the week, how is it not selling? How is it not selling? You see, people have to stop falling in love with what they want to hear and just pay attention to the facts. If nobody was streaming or Sons of Record, it wouldn't be number 14. You know how many records were out? I believe, Cardi, you should stay on and go even harder. And we don't need no remix. You don't need a remix of the record. You don't need a remix of the record. Because if you remix the record, that's just going to give the people what they want, and it's going to, and not saying her fans, because her fans are satisfied. Her fans don't really want no remix. They don't need one. These two on it are fine with them. It is a benefit to having Cardi B on your record. Let's be clear. Right now, she's the biggest female rapper out. She's not the hottest, that's Meg Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion is the hottest female rapper right now because she's been the most consistent and she's been seen the most. Cardi's only dropped 2 records, well, we'll say 3 with Big Paper. She's only dropped, 3 records in the past 3 years? Or something along those lines, 2.5 years, and she hasn't dropped a single yet for a new album. So, if I'm Cardi B, leave your vocals where they are. I know you deleted those tweets, but they never should have went up in the first place. So I have to really, come down on you for that part. I think, I'm glad that you made it up, but, made it up by saying you apologize to your fans, you apologize to your people, and you apologize to Normani, which is great because it never should have been said in the first place. Let those people continue to hate. The ones that are saying they're not listening to it, streaming it, or buying it because you were on it, trust me, they were not going to buy it anyway. Because they don't want you to get any more number ones. You could have came on and said, Wildside. Wildside. And just said that and got a features credit. So knowing if the song went to number 1, you would still be considered you getting number 1. People would say, why did she have to say Wildside on the record? That didn't make any sense. I'm not going to stream it because she said Wildside on the record. That doesn't make sense. Leave your vocals where they are. RCA, now there's 14, you need to promote the record. I understand you don't want to put her in the same lane as Doja Cat right now. But Normani is a pop artist. She is not an R&B artist. And R&B is dead anyway. I told y'all that. So that was a bad move from the beginning from RCA trying to push her as a R&B artist, which she is not. So Wildside debuts number 14. Cardi B tweets and deletes. Cardi, leave them vocals alone, man. They'll be all right. Them people will be all right. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network.